Hello, welcome to GOT. Today we're going to talk about the OnePlus Open versus the Honor Magic V3. We're going to put them both to the test and run them head to head and see if this Honor Magic is really a nice, viable upgrade. And we'll talk about whether it'd be easy or hard to transition to the Honor Magic. Let's get started. So let's go ahead and look at the look and feel on these two. Very similar. If you look and we put them right up against each other, you can see they're nearly the same size. I believe the Honor Magic is just a little bit wider, and we'll talk about why here in just a moment. And it's clearly a bit thinner. And then going around here to the back, you can see that the camera housing is not quite as large as what's on the OnePlus Open. And it's just a bit more streamlined looking, as you can see here in this overhead camera. And you can see there the thickness as well. Now, another thing that's a little different on the outside of these two phones is the button placement. As you can see, the power and finger sensor on the OnePlus is right there, and on the Honor Magic, same location. And then the volume seems like it's the same location. However, on the Honor Magic, it's actually on the opposite side. So you have the power here and the rocker arm volume over on this side. I'm not exactly sure why they did that placement, but I do like it. Now, on the OnePlus Open, you do have the quick switch for turning the sound on and off. I do like that and wish they had that on the Honor, but if you can look and see how narrow it is, they almost don't have the room for it. Open both of these up and see them side by side here with them open. You can see it's quite a bit more narrow, and they just don't have the space for it. So let's start talking about the screens. Now, both of these have a really nice screen on the outside, as you can see here. They're very comparable, but just from the overhead view, you can tell that the Honor Magic is a little bit larger. It's a 6.4-inch screen diagonal, where the OnePlus Open is a 6.31. But you can definitely see that there's a lot less bezel over here on the Honor Magic versus the OnePlus Open. And of course, you got some extra trim work here on the OnePlus Open. And then when you look around the edges, you can see a dark pattern bezel around the edge, which you don't have on the Honor Magic. Now, both of these have similar brightness. Let's see if we turn them all up all the way. They're both pretty bright, and I can't really say it, except it does seem like the Honor Magic is a little bit brighter, maybe not as blue. So now on these phones, you have pretty much similar features. On the side, you have a side menu. On this one, you do too. You have a side menu, but on this one, you could do the side menu on both sides. So you could pull it from either side, whichever is more convenient, which is kind of nice. And they all do similar things as far as opening up apps. And these things are really fast, both of them. Let's see, maybe a little bit faster. Now, the speed here on the Honor Magic would be due to it having the Snapdragon Gen 3 versus the Snapdragon Gen 2 on the OnePlus Open. Now, the OnePlus Open has 16 gigs of RAM, where on the Honor Magic, you only have 12. So the OnePlus Open can make up a little bit from the extra RAM. However, they both have extended RAM capabilities by using the onboard memory. These things are just much faster. Matter of fact, I think these are actually smoother than the Samsung S25 Ultra at times. You can see where the Ultra is quite a bit larger, but when you're getting closer to it with the Magic V3. So as far as bar phone size goes, the Honor Magic is much closer than the OnePlus Open. Now let's go on to the inside of both of these phones. You could definitely see the difference in size here. The Honor Magic being just a little bit larger. And I believe it's a little bit wider too. Let's see here. Yeah, it's quite a bit wider and taller. So you get more screen real estate on the Magic V. This one is a 7.82 inch screen, where this one is a This one's a 7.82, and this one's a 7.92, so nearly 8 inches. And you can see that full inch difference here in size. Now, the Honor Magic has a camera right here in the middle of that screen, where on the OnePlus Open, it's on the end, which I kind of like that placement better. But with this, they have this really nice feature. It's similar to that of the dynamic island, where you can do some things different, like say you play some music and you open up and start music play. So I'm going to turn that down a bit. There we go. Start some music play, and then you close it up. See, it pops up there on the dynamic island, and you can control it from here. Now, I don't know if they call it a dynamic island or whatever, but that's what I'm going to call it for now because it seems to be the most popular term. I'd like to take a quick second and thank you for hanging out with me as I compare these two phones. And I would really appreciate if you would thank me by hitting that like button down below. It really does help out the channel and gives me the ability to bring more content like this to you. Now that's out of the way, back to the video. Now let's look at the function of both these things. They're very similar. If you go up here and you can see all the background apps here, you can trash them all right here, or you hit the X to close them all. But something that bothers me all the time is the OnePlus does not seem to close everything. See there? There's 2 more apps still open. If I hit the X, do it again, they're still open. Now someone told me you just got to go into settings and change it so these things can be closed through this close all feature, but I found that to not be quite so, and a pain in the rear. So you got to take and close these individually if you want them closed. Where on this one, there are no apps open from that one close. So that function's really nice. Now let's go ahead and look at some apps on these things. You can see the speed of the Magic is just a little bit faster, and I would give that to the processor, giving us that little bit of extra speed. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to demonstrate multitasking on these phones. Now the OnePlus Open just got an update, so it's acting up a little bit on me. It's not quite doing what I'm used to, so we'll just kind of work our way through it and see what happens. But you can definitely see some difference between the two as far as multitasking goes. So multitasking, we know we can open up a single app, but let's go ahead and open up pair apps here, and I'll open up the same pair together here. So we got 2 apps open up. Now, of course, on all these phones, you can go ahead and hit the center, and you can get them to swap sides just there and swap, or you can hit the center and you can get them to swap horizontally on this one, and this one says top to bottom split. The difference is on this one you can go up to a 1/3. This one you cannot. It pops. It won't do a 1/3. It goes down too far, but you can definitely do a split, even split. So you got a little bit more multitasking flexibility here on the Honor Magic V3. Now let's go ahead and get these back side by side here because it just makes it easier for me to work on them this way. So now we're going to go ahead and see what we can do as far as floaters. Well, you know, here on OnePlus Open, you have the side menu. And let's say you want a floater there. I just clicked on it, and now we have a floater. And this floater, you can resize it if you touch it in the right spot. Okay, and you can place it anywhere on the screen that you want. And then you can also take and minimize it. So now it's a little dot there on the side. You can do the same thing over here, except it's from the side menu here. Let's go ahead and open up Edge as well. And same thing, you can resize it if you grab it in the right spot, move it around. But if you hit this dot, you have lots of things you can do. You can go full screen with it. You can set it to one side, or you can, it's already blue lit up is because that is minimized or as a floater. Or you can hit the minus button to minimize it. And look here, it's on the side. Very similar to what you got on the OnePlus Open. Now let's go ahead and do a second one. On the OnePlus Open, let's go ahead and open up Chrome. Now we got Chrome, again, it's a floater, and I'm going to go ahead and minimize it. Let's do the same thing over here. Let's take and find Chrome, click it, there it is, and let's minimize it. So now you got 2 apps minimized here on the side, and the way they do it over here, if I can get it, you see the 2 apps there on the side, there's the small icons, and you just click on either one and they'll just open up to the floating window. Now let's go ahead and do a third. So we'll open up OnePlus here, and we'll do Amazon. Now we got a floating window here. Let's go ahead and minimize that. And then over here, we'll do the same thing. And whoops, I kind of messed up there, didn't I? Let's go back here. Let's go ahead and do it on the other side, though. We can open up that and choose Amazon. Now we got Amazon as a floater, and let's minimize it. Now we've got 3 minimized, right? Well, let's look over here. We've got 2, only 2. So it replaced 1. It only allows you to have 2 minimized floaters. What about over here? Let's see what we got here. Where's my floaters? Right there. And I've got 3. Is 3 the limit? No, you can do more. Let's go ahead and go on this side again. Let's open up Messages. Now Messages is a floater, which is really nice. And you can shrink that down. Now there's 4. Let's do another one. And let's do Chat GPT. There it is. It's a floater. Let's minimize it. Yep, there it is. See, I don't know that there's a limit to it. We're going to stop there for time's sake. But as you can see, you got a lot more options here. Now, we do have to talk about the multitasking that you have as far as a third app on the OnePlus Open. So in other words, let's say I want to open up a third app, and let's just open up this file manager. go up here, and now you have 3 apps opened all side by side, and you just have to touch the ends to get from one to another. Or you could take this one and you can expand it, and when you expand it, it becomes a full page, and then the other 2 are up top. Typically, there you just slide down. Okay, they changed that. So it used to be you can actually slide it, so that's nice. I guess maybe that's part of the update. Interesting. So, and then you have all these lines that you can do different things, like you can switch the app, go full screen with that one. You can expand this one. So you can actually expand all the apps if you want to full screen, which is kind of nice. And then you just switch from them by swiping. Just got to remember which one's where. So you can have 3 apps open at once, full size, which is kind of a neat thing. You can't do that over here. Now, something I did find on the Honor Magic V3 is when I'm using it, and let's say I got a couple apps going on, and then let's say I get like a text while I'm using these apps. So say I'm cruising down the road and I'm just watching music, and then I get this text message. I can click on it and check that out. It automatically turns it into a floating window and pops it up there. I could read that text message and then put it out of the way. Now that's pretty slick. And if I wanted to, I can actually respond to the text message right here, and I can do it, of course, by voice. Sure, no problem. And then send it. I think that is a really good use for floating windows, and I'm really liking that. I never experienced that on any of these other devices. Now, maybe it was there, I just missed it, but it wasn't something that just came natural like it did here on the Magic V3. So that's the basic multitasking. Now, on both of these phones, you can customize some things like folders, like these large folders that I like to do. You can shrink them down, as you can see here, or you can go enlarge, which I like to do with some of them just to make a change. And if I use the app a lot, it's really cool. Now, another part of customizing is widgets. I'm really enjoying widgets now on the Magic because you have stackable widgets here. So here you can actually stack, saving space. I like to have a calendar, and at times I like to look at specialty weather there. So it makes it really nice to do that with a stackable app instead of having to go around and move to different apps. Unfortunately, you cannot do stackable apps on the OnePlus Open, so I don't use many widgets for that reason because they take up a lot of space. Now, when you do want to bring in widgets, you just pinch either one of them and you can go here, and they're called cards on here, and of course, widgets on the OnePlus Open. I don't know why they decided to call them cards here. They have customized ones on the Honor Magic, but you can also go to the classic widgets, which gives you everything else that you get here on the OnePlus Open. And then, of course, on both of these, you have the news feed on this other window here, where you can check out your news, which I do every morning. I check out the different news, read up on it, see what's going on, and you can see how well they both are very smooth. Now, I'm going to talk about the cameras real quick, and I'm just going to talk about them quickly because I do have another video that I put out that if you want to see more detail on them. But on these things, the cameras are both really nice. And as far as the cameras goes, now the Honor Magic has a 50 megapixel main, where the OnePlus has a 48 megapixel main. And then ultra wide, this one's got a 40 megapixel ultra wide, where this one has a 48 megapixel ultra wide. Now, where the big difference is the zoom. This one has a 50 megapixel 3.5 times zoom, where this one has a 64 megapixel 3 times zoom. Now, when you get out there and you compare them, I still think that they're very compatible to one another, although this one does have larger sensors, except for the 64 megapixel zoom lens. It's a larger sensor on the OnePlus Open. So they're very, very compatible in taking photos. I don't really think there was any compromise on the Honor Magic like we're seeing on the Oppo Find N5, because they went so thin they compromised on the cameras. Not so here. And this one's actually a 4.35 thickness open, where the Oppo is just a 4.2 millimeters. So not a whole lot of difference. And I bet you if you put them side by side, you can't eyeball the difference. Now, there is a difference in weight, where the OnePlus Open is 239 grams. The Honor Magic is 226. So it's quite a bit lighter. And guess what? The Oppo Find N is 228, I believe, or 29. So it is actually heavier than the Honor Magic V3. I believe the only thing the Oppo Find N has on the Honor Magic V3 is basically thinness and the faster chip. but I would love to see the two of them perform side by side. I bet it's not that much faster. Now, I could tell you on my daily use, I'm really enjoying this Honor Magic, actually even a little more than I did the OnePlus Open. And up to this point, this was my favorite phone. Now, I did want to show you real quick, and I'll see if I can do this real quick, the charging speeds of these two phones. Now, you do have to plug them in with their own OEM cord, and there you go. You could do, see there it says max charging, 66 watts, supercharged. So we're doing it really quick right there with the Honor Magic. And now here we'll plug in the OnePlus Open, and you can see you're going to get the very similar thing right there, telling you that it's supercharged 67 watts. And you can see the numbers there just grow. So that's a really nice feature on both of them. You get the fast charging, which you don't get on any of these other foldables. And then, of course, when we're talking about charging, the Honor Magic does have wireless charging up to 50 watts. Now, I'm not getting anywhere near that because I have not bought, and I don't know that I'm going to spend the money on a 50-watt wireless charger. So I'm just enjoying the charging speeds that I get right now on my wireless chargers, which is a really nice plus that you don't get with the OnePlus Open, because wireless charging is absent on this phone. Now, if I missed anything, please leave me a comment down below and let me know so I can check that out and maybe put it in a future video, or I will actually answer you right there in the comments. Or you could just say hello and let me know you enjoyed the video. Now, if you want to get a more detailed look at the Honor Magic V3, check out this video here. Until next time, God bless.